Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Notts College News. And today I'm your host, Nat, and hostess
Miley.
And today we have our special guest. Her name is Shuguftah Quddoos.
Welcome, thank you. Lovely to be here.
Explain us about your background.
So, my parents are of Pakistani heritage, but I was born in the UK and I came to Nottingham as a student, like you two are. And I've been here a while since then.
And what did you study in Nottingham?
So I was at what is now Nottingham Trent, and I did something called business studies, which is very similar to, but it was a while ago.
And what led you into politics?
So I got interested in politics when I was a student at college, because it was the time of, it was the 80s. Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister and we had the miners' strike. Yeah. So I started to just follow the news and got interested in the news and current affairs. And I did A-level politics at college. And I wanted to come and do it at university, but my parents said to me at the time, what are you going to do with a degree in politics? That's not going to get you a job. So I came to Nottingham, did my degree course, started working, and then I had a couple of children. And then about 10 years ago, I was listening to the radio at home and cooking, and I could hear Nigel Farage's voice on the radio. This is over 10 years ago. And I was angry. I was just chopping my onions. And that was the time where we had the first Conservative MP who switched to sit as a UKIP MP over 10 years ago. So I asked myself the question, if this is the first MP, if this is the beginning of something, what am I going to say to my then young children when they ask me, what did you do when the first Conservative MP switched to UKIP? What did you do? And there's a very famous quote by someone whose name I've completely forgotten, and he says, for evil to happen, it takes good people to do nothing. So about 10 years ago, I joined the Labour Party. And started to go along to my local Labour meetings, and I met my local councillors around, so I live around Forest Fields and Baseford, parts of the city. So I met my local councillors when I started to go to local meetings, and I thought, okay, so this might be the reason why my neighbourhood is such a dump. And it's like nothing's happening. And then a couple of my friends just said to me, look, Shuguftah, you're good at talking. Why don't you put your name forward? Why don't you be a local councillor? If you don't want white men to run the city, why don't you stand? And then we finally got elected in 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what motivated you to become the Sheriff of Nottingham then?
To be the Sheriff?
Yeah.
Oh, that was dead easy. I just wanted to open Nottingham Castle. Because I love Nottingham Castle. I loved it even before it was renovated and you could go in for free. And I have lots of fond memories of it. So I just had it was one of those, just chatting with friends and I would be having some banter. And I said, oh, I'd love to reopen the castle after the 5 years that it was closed to make it into. And when they were doing the renovation, we were, as councillors, we were offered the opportunity to go in and have a look at the progress they were making. And we were offered the opportunity to go onto the roof. And it was so cool, like literally the roof of the castle. And I was like, and then I got a bit of, oh gosh, I'd just love to open the castle. And I did. And I did, which was amazing. Did it with Robin Hood and the kids from a primary school. And it was just a fantastic day. And because I really love the city and, when you're the sheriff, it's an opportunity for you to give back. It was a fabulous year. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. I always say to people, I went from being a student here, I came here as a student, and then I became the sheriff. Yeah, so who would have thought that?
Did those opportunities that you had motivate you more to want to help Nottingham develop and become better?
Yeah, I think it does motivate you to a certain extent, but at the same time I also feel that the city has a lot of challenges, and some of those challenges are kind of hidden, because you're right, if you walk around, particularly the city centre, mostly, it looks a very vibrant, we're a very young city, we're a very green city in terms of trees and our city, but at the same time we have a lot of challenges in the city, and that's difficult because some of the answers to those challenges are complex and require us to be brave as politicians to tackle them. So Nottingham there are over 300 councils across England and Wales. There are 317. And Nottingham ranks in the top 10 of deprivation. So that's crime, that's antisocial behaviour, that's drug addiction, that's young people out of, all the social deprivation. We rank high levels of child poverty. So we have some very real challenges in the city, many of which are hidden. We have challenges around housing, employment, all of that. And the answers to that are difficult and complex. So I'm motivated to want to make change happen. And whether that's change in an individual that I help who's living in the ward I represent, whether that's change that happens in the neighbourhood that I represent, or whether that's change in the city as part of the city council, then yeah, I love change and I want obviously to make the city a better place. If my voice can add to that, then yeah, absolutely, I'm motivated.
Yeah. And should the people look after themselves or instead of the government?
It's a fine balance, isn't it? And I think public services should be there because not everyone, when they're born, is born with the same life chances. It's just fortunate, isn't it, if you're born to parents who have got the social skills, the money and the understanding to parent you well, and you get raised in a neighbourhood. But we all know that we have generational poverty, and that with generational poverty there's also a lack of opportunity. So people need public services in order to give their children the opportunity and to give themselves that opportunity. And I think local government has a place in that to provide that early help for young children and to provide that help for some of our most vulnerable citizens. So a lot of the responsibility of looking after older people, looking after adults with learning disabilities and physical disabilities, looking after children and young people in care. So at the moment we have about 650 children and young people that are in care. So they're either in foster care with foster carers or they're in a children's home. But those 650 children are ultimately in the care of Nottingham City Council, because Nottingham City Council are ultimately what we call corporate parents. And I think for all of those, and you'll know walking around the city that we have people who are homeless on the streets, we have people who are living in hostels and hotels, and the responsibility of caring, I think, for our most vulnerable citizens lies with our public services like the City Council. It's our responsibility to make sure that we keep people safe and we give everyone an equal opportunity to have a good life in this city, even if they're not born with the same life chances that you and I may have had. They need to have that opportunity. And I think that's really important that local services and public services provide that.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have similar experiences as well, like others say that.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you, everyone cannot decide who they want to be before they're born, and they face the certain position they have to be, and of course they need some help.
Yeah, they do need some
Get
help.
up.
Yeah.
So what is your opinion on the legal voting age being changed to 16?
What's your opinion, Miley? Do you think people should vote at the age of 16?
I think if they have the right education to know what they're voting for, but I don't think all children are provided with the right education to know.
And you're absolutely right. I think if we lowered the voting age, then it would have to go on the curriculum, wouldn't it? Yeah, how? Because I meet adults that go, I've never voted in my life. And I have to say to them, you know, you could vote for the first time. You know, 'cause, you know, they're like, well, I don't even know what to do. Like, do I need my ID? Where do I go? What do all the parties stand for? What does it all mean? And it is quite a complicated process. So I think if we lowered the voting age, I think with that would come a change to the curriculum to PHSE, where, you know, young people would be taught about all the political differences and how local government and how Westminster work and operate. And so I think it's a good thing, because I think all young people have a point of view on politics and what's going on. And I, you know, as a Green Party councillor, I know that the environment and the climate crisis is something that's really close to the heart of a lot of children and young people. And I think if they had the opportunity to be able to express that at the ballot box, I think it would hopefully have the polling tells us that most young people are open to voting towards the left, and particularly towards the Green Party and the Labour Party, for example. So I think for us, it's a positive, but it has to come with that caveat of educating young people on what it's about, because you're right.
What are your thoughts about the redevelopment of Broadmarsh?
Yeah, so do you like the green heart of the city?
Yeah.
So as part of that, so years ago, before it was even, when it was still Broadmarsh, we did a consultation as a city council, and we asked people, we said, what would you do with this space? Yeah. And I think we spent quite a bit of time just saying to people, look, fill out a survey, tell us what you think. We really want to hear what you think. And lots of people in the city came back to us and said, actually, we'd like some green space. We don't want a bowling alley. We don't want another cinema. We would like some green space. And it was that exercise of listening, I think we called it the big listening exercise or something like that, that helped us as politicians make a decision about what to do with the space. And that's where having political power matters, because we had to look at the results of the survey, we had to look at the options, we had to reach a consensus and a decision as to what we were going to do with the space. And that's why part of it is now the Green Heart. Yeah. The other part that's still standing has just been sold for housing redevelopment, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because what happened during our journey with Broadmarsh is that we ran out of money. The council ran out of money, and our access to pots of money that would allow us to make the whole space green was limited, like we didn't have it. And so we then had half of Broadmarsh derelict, no money to turn it into yet more green space, no money to do anything with it. So the only option then was for us to sell it to someone to then build yet more flats and apartments in the city centre. So kind of disappointed that we're building more flats and apartments in the city centre, because my personal view is that we need more like houses across the wider city, outside of the city centre. So we're making progress with it, and the Green Heart is great.
Okay, so what is next for you, Shuguftah?
What's next for me?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know that when you're elected to be a local councillor, you're elected for 4 years. when you're elected to be an MP, you're elected for 5 years. So I was elected in 2023. So I'm 2 years into this term of office, so to speak. So I've got another 2 years to sit as a local councillor. So I'll continue to do that. And you might have heard that I switched to sit as a Green Party councillor earlier this year. So I think the future for me is very green. And because I'm currently the only Green Party councillor in Nottingham and on Nottingham City Council, I think the future is about kind of building the awareness of the Green Party, trying to do my best to make change happen in my neighbourhood, and trying to make my voice heard, hopefully across the city. But yeah, I think we've got some interesting times ahead, don't you? I think these are very interesting times that we live in.
Yeah. What are your thoughts for the future of Nottingham within 10 years' time?
Well, I'm ambitious for Nottingham. I think that there are challenges, and I think one of the challenges that we have is whether we'll hit our CN 2028 target. So this is our target around being the first city in the UK to declare that we are carbon neutral. So we started that journey a long time ago. And 2028 was our kind of target date to declare that we're carbon neutral by. And that's a tough target for us to reach. I'm not sure we're going to reach it because we need to reach it as a city. So it wasn't just about Nottingham City Council becoming carbon neutral as an organisation, but it was about the whole city. So that's transport, that's housing, that's colleges, that's businesses, that's everybody's business. And although our emissions have lowered, it's going to be a tough challenge for us to hit it by 2028. We may well hit it as an organisation, but it may be more challenging for us to hit it as a city. So for me, that's really important that we do, because I think our climate crisis is the most important crisis of our time and of our generation. And if we don't tackle it now, then we can't go back and undo the damage. So I hope you would expect me to say, as a Green Party councillor, that the environment and climate change has to be the focus for the future, not just for our city, but for the country, for our world, for our planet, because I think we have to get our priorities right. It really isn't all about economic growth.
Yeah, that's what I get about the summer, how we had 4 heat waves this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for your time. And as well, thanks folks for listening, Notts College TV, and hopefully you will have a wonderful morning. And thank you for your time as well.
It's been a pleasure.
And Notts College TV out.
Cut.